Good morning, everybody. I sincerely apologize for my tardiness this morning. I overslept. Normally I'm up at 6, the very latest, but I overslept. Did not set my alarm and just woke up and looked at the time and was like, oh, I gotta get going. Anyway, welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We're in the 737 MAX. We're going to kind of switch it up. We've been doing these slow prop flights, but we're going to go fly from Bogota, Colombia to Willemstad International Airport there in Curacao. So we are going to go ahead and get in here, get started. I think people will join in or pop in once they are aware that I'm live. I do apologize. I looked at the time and it was like, I really got to get a move on. So I just made my coffee. So we'll get in here, get the plane started up, and we'll be on our way. I did spend some time last night on the startup procedure. So hopefully we will go very well. And we'll be on our way. Well, we will be on our way. It's just practicing last night. I was making a few mistakes, but better to make them in the practice than in real life. Go ahead and pop that in. That. All right, let's do this. So here we are at our gate. All right, so we're gonna minimize that. We don't want Copilot talking to. All right, so let's see. Do this. That's fuel pumps. These. And then okay, now we're just gonna start the right one first, but we're gonna turn on everything for both engines, but we're gonna start the right one first and then the left. Here, lead for both engines. There's that. EPU master. There. Generator. Starters right here. Now we just got to look at the. All right, so the right engine is starting up. Yep. So that spins all the way up, and then we'll get the other one started. While we're doing that, we can go ahead and get our IFR clearance.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130 IFR to Plisman, ready to copy. Merrick Romeo Golf 130 is cleared to Plisman Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 13 right climb and maintain 15,000 feet. Departure frequency is 128.6 squawk 5241. Merrick Romeo Golf 130 cleared to Plisman Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 13 right climb and maintain 15,000 feet. Departure on 128.6 squawk 5241. Merrick Romeo Golf 130 read back correct. Contact ground on 121.8. Good day.
Get our IFR clearance real quick. I already know which way to go, but we'll go ahead and do that.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130 taxi to and hold short of runway 13 right via taxiway Charlie. Contact tower on 118.25 when ready. Taxiing hold short runway 13 right using taxiway Charlie. Merrick Romeo Golf 130.
That one's coming online. Why isn't... Something was kind of weird about the startup last night, and I know I followed it all the way through. But it's like it's not spinning up all the way for some reason. Both on. All the electricals are on. Okay, that's why. We wanted to go to 20, but it's like stuck there. So let's do this, and then try that, and that should get them going, I think. Let's just go to one of them. Because the engine should be at like 20%. Good morning, Mick. How are you? Morning. I don't know, Bronzeman. I was already late as it was, so I do apologize, but I can't tell you why that happens. That is beyond my control. So I apologize for not looking over. Startup is not going the way. Why is this not working? They're spun up. I don't know why.
Ground Varick Romeo Golf 130 requesting pushback.
We'll go ahead and push back and then see if it...
Pushback request accepted.
That there. Oops. That's not what I wanted. To the left.
Ground Varick Romeo Golf 130 requesting pushback to steer the aircraft to the left. Varick Romeo Golf 130, your request has been transmitted to the operator. Ground Varick Romeo Golf 130 requesting the end of pushback. Varick Romeo Golf 130 request to end pushback received.
Turn off the external power. Why is it this? See if it spills up now. Something didn't take. I don't know why. There we go. Now, at least one of them's going now correctly. Or they're both going now. There we go. Okay. We're finally in business. Alright, they're stable now, I do believe. Yep, alright. Now we can go ahead and close that. It's Alright, let's go ahead and taxi out. You know, our lights on too. This is over. I don't need to leave lights on. I'm glad you think so, Zoltar. Appreciate that. Flight director on. A couple, at least, I'm thinking about 2 hours, Zoltar. Maybe an hour and a half. Why? No. Yeah, I'm going to fly the entire flight unless something happens. That's the plan. I'm not just doing this to taxi out, so... Well, welcome. Yeah, I apologize. I woke up a little bit late, feeling a little bit behind, so I apologize if my sense of humor is not completely awake yet. So that's why I thought you were just being a bit sarcastic in my chat. But you're more than welcome to hang out. Happy to have you here. We are flying the entire flight. So all the information is there in the description for the flight. What we're intending to do, well, at least are from and to. No, we fly the whole thing. No, it's, you got to do the whole thing. So, well, you don't have to. You know, but I don't know. No, there's no, like, you don't just start up and then taxi out and take off and then suddenly you're near your destination, you start to descend. No, you fly the whole thing. Well, what I do, and I think a lot of people do, because trying to fly a 737 or any jetliner manually, except for landing maybe, is a tall order. So what we do is we take off and then we engage the system, the autopilot systems and the navigation systems, and then we're on our way. So I don't take over until we start our descent portion and all that. So, oh, okay, no, that's fine. Well, this is one of the things I noticed last night when I was kind of practicing the startup, and obviously my practice didn't pay off because there were still a few issues, but anyway, there seems to be like all these little vehicles are driving around out here on the taxiway and then out on the runway. Kind of crazy. The only thing we need to worry about is the altimeter reading once we get to talk to request our takeoff clearance.
Tower Varick Romeo Golf 130 at runway 13 right, ready for departure IFR to Plisman. Varick Romeo Golf 130, altimeter 30.3, 4 wind 038 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway 13 right. Cleared for takeoff runway 13 right, Varick Romeo Golf 130.
There's that, so our altitude's set correctly. No issues. No, we always, so you stop, request takeoff clearance, and then you have the weather on, then you have to put in the altimeter reading, which is at 30.04, and then so then we're at our correct altitude once we take off, and then once we go above 18,000 feet, then we have to switch it back to 29902 until we start to descend. And then there's what I learned is a transition altitude on descent, and that's when we got to go to our. I did a bit of homework last night, learning some things, so now things kind of make sense. Alright, here we go. There's that. I think we are all set. Oh, what I forgot. I haven't done that already. Alright, let's minimize that. They're not stupid questions. It's understandable. You've never seen this before, so I completely understand. Alright, let's do this. Wait for the audio cue, it'll say V1. Not going fast enough yet. Almost there.
V1.
There we go. Nav. There we are.
Good day. Going to 128.6 Varick Romeo Golf 130. Bogota Center Varick.
Well, it's at 3004, so but once we get above Well, I don't know the cabin pressure exactly, so that's a bit more involved than we get in the sim. We're climbing out, buddy.
Keep speed not above 230 knots. Varick Romeo Golf 130.
I'm gonna break that rule. Screw it. So what we do is it's automated. We don't have to worry about the cabin pressure. So yeah, that is not something we need to. It automatically does that for us. So we just have to worry about the altimeter readings so that we're at the right altitude. So that doesn't. We don't have to worry about that necessarily. So there we are, the old crusty salute to Bogota Airport. We're gonna get caught back up on the plan here, or on the route. It'll correct itself. Have a nice fly over some mountainous region here, I think, before we turn towards Curacao. Yes, that's correct.
Climb and maintain flight level 260, Varick Romeo Golf 130.
Alright, so now, once we get past 180, we'll change the altimeter reading to standard pressure. Hold on a second. Alright, so let's change this to Niner 2. There we go. Perfect. Alright, we are on our way. And we'll just keep climbing, even though ATC. So what happens is, in our route menu, or routes, and because I have the flight director on, everything kind of takes its information already plugged in for our route. So 370 should be our max altitude here. So we can go ahead and set some things up while we're getting that done. Checking some things, and then we're all set for the flight now. It should just be pretty much smooth sailing from here. Knock on wood. So yeah, it'll automatically just keep going all the way up to 37,000 feet, or flight level 370. I think we're finally turning towards our destination. So we're all set. So this airline filed for bankruptcy, or I think they basically stopped operating as an independent airline in Brazil. Because I figured we were in South America, we go with at least a South American airline. We were going there anyway, buddy. We're just going to keep going all the way to 370. But they were bought out, rescued, I think, by another airline. But they're, I don't know if they still operate as Varied or not. But that's the livery. And I did look up, I guess they still operate, but they operate under a different name. Kind of. I'm not sure how to explain it, but anyway, so we've got this. The Romeo Golf 130 is an actual flight number for them. So I just kind of plugged that in just to kind of make it interesting. Got a little bit back off track there for a second. It'll correct itself. So there we are. So hopefully we had a good holiday. All that. Can't believe this is the last week of the year already. See, there we go.
Climb and maintain flight level 370, Varied Romeo Golf 130.
We're going there anyway there, buddy. Alright, so the speed automatically switched over to Mach, so we're going at 0.78 Mach. I think that should be just about our cruise speed. It may kind of go down a bit once we get to our cruise altitude. Flight attendants get started on the flight service. So there we are. We're on our way. Oh, Mr. Candy Cane. Some very strange names today. Not gonna lie. Alright, let's see. Have a look outside here. Passing over that one. There. Let's see if we can see our... Boy, I almost thought something had happened there. That's that plane. For our next waypoint marker, what the name of this should be aiding. The sun, I cannot see these. Screens very well. Alright, now maybe I can't see the I know the name's down there, but with the sun it's really difficult to read. Alright. Anyways. Might be able to read it over on the other. Okay, so the one at the top there, that's our next marker. So it is updating in the... Okay, perfect. So just to kind of update things tomorrow. So we're going to kind of switch things up tomorrow for the flight that we were going to do on the 29th, which has been canceled. Tomorrow we're going to be in the 777 freighter going from Miami to down in Guatemala, I think. Yeah. So that's the 28th. The 29th will be the flight in the Cessna 208 Bravo. Will be in Japan. The 30th will be the Beechcraft G36 Bonanza. We'll be in America for that flight, and then the 31st will be the long flight in the Dreamliner going from Heathrow to New York for New Year's Eve. That one will be a little bit later in the morning. I think I said 9 o'clock. So, excuse me, I didn't mean to burp. So be aware it will not be at the normal time on the 31st. It will be at the... Oh, so it is working, kind of. Yeah, it's our... That's the plan for the next few days, so we'll have some fun in the 777 freighter. When I have time today, I think it's the same startup procedure as the 747 that we already have, because that's how Captain Sim built it around the 747 flight deck. So it should be a similar startup procedure. Oh, looks like there's a... Oh, just noticed that. Looks like a block. now we can see stuff, because it makes it a little bit easier to see. At least on my side. Alright, there we go. Now we can actually see stuff a little bit easier. Alright. So yeah, I'll tinker around with that today. I think it's the same startup procedure as the 747. All this stuff should be very similar, layout and everything. So I'll give that a go, and then we'll do that tomorrow. So good stuff. I think this area, they have probably very good imagery for many of these countries would probably not allow. They've just kind of had, in some cases, well, it's rendering in, but it's kind of rendering a bit late, it seems. It's all splotchy right there for some reason. The information is not as current as it probably could be, but that might be due to the governments of the region or something. So a bit of high clouds here, a little bit of a lot of puffy clouds below. So we're going to fly it pretty much the way we're going for quite some time, and then eventually we'll kind of turn towards our airport there, our destination, and we'll start descending, we'll start slowing down, get ready for landing, and then we'll put the plane on the ground nice and easy, taxi to the gate, and then we'll be done. So a little bit of rain down there. Gray clouds, not the puffy clouds that we're used to seeing sometimes, but yeah, I thought it was a bit of a headache getting the engine started up all the way, but we got them done. So we were on the ground a little bit longer than I would have liked to have been. And I cannot believe I overslept. Well, I didn't even turn on my alarm for this morning. Last night when I went to bed, normally I do that. And I guess I just totally forgot. Went to sleep, and then next thing I know, I wake up, and because like normally my body clock wakes me up, around about the time for me to get up anyway, and nope, not today. Guess my body clock took the day off. So when I looked at the time, I was like, ooh, I gotta get going. Alright, so that's that marker in front of us there, the one that we're flying towards now. That is going to take a huge chunk out of our... So by that point, we will be kind of on our down, as I call it, the downside of our flight. So it should, from there on, it should go fairly quickly. I think we'll have some markers, and then it'll be, things will kind of be broken down, I think, so we'll start descending and all that. Start slowing the plane down. Oh, well, thank you, Mick. It was good to be back on the trains, yeah. I really enjoyed that. I did miss it. It was very difficult, as I've said before. I was very upset with Dovetail. I just was like, I'm done with it. But, there's a lot of it that I do enjoy, and it was hard not to do that. Well, I think I've always been my old self, but I like the challenge of flight sim because there's things to learn there as well, and I keep learning things all the time as far as the what to do and when to do it and how to do everything. But yeah, it was fun to drive Sandpatch. I do feel bad. I said it yesterday when we were flying over Monterey that I felt bad that I cut Pithers off because he happened to come in right at the end there and all that. I know that's one of his favorite routes to watch people drive because he likes to see the challenge of driving up and down the hill, and especially slowing the train down and all that, keeping control of it. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to this Sunday. We'll be on the Peninsula Corridor. We'll do a run in the Baby Bullet. Do an all-stop service, I think, from San Francisco to San Jose. So looking forward to that again. And yeah, good stuff. Really enjoyed that. Oh, absolutely, I was. Yeah, it was, and I think it was more so the fact that we got it going, like within reason, of course. It was a little bit slow, but to get the train started up, no problems, and then finally get it moving. That was really good. I think I felt really positive about that for not having done it in quite some time. I was really happy to get it moving. So yeah, I felt really good about that. I wish I could zoom in a little bit closer here to read what all that says. That's the one limitation on the Xbox. I can't really see all that stuff. Like, I don't know what all that is saying. I mean, I'd probably have to... Let me see if I can... Hold on a second. Let's just have a look here. Okay, the flight number RG130. Tail number. Okay, so that's the universal time is 1300 now, so that is the UK time, and that's today's date, and 55 minutes have elapsed in the flight, and so that's about 2 minutes more than we have been streaming. So so that is the official flight clock there, how long we've been flying. So, and we're now, the interesting thing is, I've noticed in this plane, because I've tried flying it before and I think I've been somewhat successful for the most part, we're like right or to the left of the actual on this, at least this one, it says that's where we are in relation to our flight plan route, which is, I think, within tolerance of the automated systems. So we're fine there. We're going the correct direction, which is important, and all that. So anyway, we still got quite a ways to go to our marker there in front of us. That seems like to be the big chunk of our flight right here, and then there'll probably be one more pretty decent distance to the next marker after that, and then we'll start our descent phase, and then manage our speed, manage our altitudes, and all that, and then we'll go from there. So looking forward to it. Should be fun. We're set up for success already, even though it doesn't feel like it, but we are, I think. Lights. Well, the important thing is we can actually see our gauges and all that. I didn't even think about doing that before we took off, but everything's working now, or we can see everything a lot clearer. Ooh, that's pretty far out. Now, the other thing, too, is for those of you who are new or watching this, and this is your first time watching this, not all the switches work. Like, it's just, they put it enough in for you to get some sense of how stuff works, but not all. Like, you're not going to touch all the switches. So it'll, if you hover over some things, it'll say in-op, for instance. Let's see if I can find one. know like, there's some stuff, but what is that all the way over there? Control. Oh, I think that's the temperature right there for the passenger stuff is right there. But yeah, there's some stuff that you're just not going to be able to.
130 contact Barranquilla Center on 127.5. Good day. Going to 127.5, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Barranquilla Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130, flight level 370.
Varick Romeo Golf 130, Barranquilla Center, continue as planned.
There we go. So yeah, not all the switches will work, and you have to be careful. You don't want to just start turning stuff off and on. But yeah, so not everything will work, and you don't want to just start turning stuff and then. So like the transponder, all that stuff gets put in. Radio frequency changes, it automatically puts that stuff in. Your AI co-pilot will change the frequencies. And if you have the co-pilot or the AI co-pilot talking, you don't have to worry about the radio traffic either. It's just your AI co-pilot. My actual co-pilot for today is Mick, but the AI co-pilot is they handle all this stuff, so you don't see anybody here. But if I go out here, let's see if I can do this without causing any major issues. Let's see if we can do this real quick, and then we'll. So if we zoom in on our. So there we are. Away from the flight deck. There we go. Actually, we can tour around here, have a look at the plane as we fly along here. There's our engine. I don't like this ride. Getting heebie-jeebies. There's the split end of the wing there. The aerodynamic device that they've not all the 737, well, this is the max, but this is, I think, how you identify the max is this shark tail split here at the end of the wing, supposed to help aerodynamically, I believe. There we are, and you can see through, I think, let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Like you could see back into the passenger area, kind of, but it's not rendered in very well, but that's okay. The door is open, essentially, right back there. You can see through, right there. Yeah, there we are. Nice up close and personal while we're flying at 37,000 feet. I just got to be careful. Hopefully, there we are. So those of you who have problems with heights, that probably got a little weird. We flew around a plane that was flying in the air. There we go. So that's how it looks up close and personal. I'll try to do that every so often because it is pretty cool to see the plane from as we're flying. But it is kind of odd, like the I didn't even realize that the door essentially is open, and that if I could stand up and walk around, I could actually probably walk through that area. The folks who play this on the PC, I think, are able to take the camera through the cabin, but in some of the cases, a lot of that stuff isn't rendered in completely. So yeah, some of the stuff is pretty much automated. Once you get going, you can just let the systems take over, and it's like no big deal. Like it's fairly easy to do. So you could switch this. We can have. There we go. That's probably better. It's easier for me to see here our next waypoint, which is CJN, which is at the top. You can kind of barely read it, but that's CJN is our next waypoint here on the flight plan. So, and you'll notice, because we have the auto throttle on, you'll see the throttle kind of change. It just barely moved there for just a second. So the system will adjust that as needed. See, I thought we were going to get away from that or something. Some sort of cowardness. Allium, you're a freaking coward. Get out of here. Quit posting that crap in my chat. So anyway, so this is a little bit easier to read, but you can swap it back and forth as to what you see, and you could put one of these as the entire engine system. You can see that a little bit clearer, but yeah, I like that on this side a little bit better. We do have a 15-knot wind coming across from the left, but no major, not had any like major turbulence, which is good. So yeah, everything's working out very well. So anyways, got quite a bit to go.
Romeo Golf 130, contact Makishia Center on 124.0. Good day.
Wow, look at this, what we're flying over. Oh, this looks really beautiful.
Romeo Golf 130. Makishia Center, Eric Romeo Golf 130, flight level 370.
Eric Romeo Golf 130, Makishia Center, continuous planned.
Not sure where Makishia is in relation to us. Got to be somewhere. Oh, there's a little sliver of the moon there. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is the wheels. If you look, they're not completely tucked in, but they don't have a cover over them to assist, I would think, in the the underside aerodynamics. That just seems kind of odd that it's laid out like that. That there's no cover over the wheels when they're retracted. they do stick out just a smidge, but I think that's just the creators or the folks who made the plane in Flight Sim Braddock. There was limitations. I'm sure that they're actually more flush for aerodynamic reasons, but yeah, seems kind of odd. So anyway, we are making our way. So I think once that it was over 500 something nautical miles, so I think we're almost at the halfway point. Oh, there goes the throttle. It'll move on its own. We're just going to keep an eye on it. Look at that. Kind of weird, isn't it? Watching it do its own thing. Hover over this. I can switch this to plan. There we go. Let's see if we can. How long has it been elapsed? 1 hour and 12 minutes flying so far. See. One of the things I like to do when we're flying, I like to look around the flight deck and see some of the different things. Although, like I said, we don't get the... we might get a little bit of turbulence here going over the mountains. To tell the passengers to sit down and be quiet. For your safety, the captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats till further notice. Here we go. So this does have some kind of a checklist, although we can't see. What are we doing? Now we can see it. So yeah, like a little little built-in checklist there on the yoke. Some things that they should check during, you know, there's like, it's broken down into takeoff and all that. And the landing. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So once, and this will be kind of like the 747 that we've flown before. What will happen is we'll see as we get closer, we'll see the little dots across the bottom, and then a magenta diamond. We'll go, once it gets to the middle, we'll hit the localizer. Once the one over on this side comes to the middle, we'll hit the approach mode. And then it should just, the tractor beam, as I like to call it, should engage. Good morning, Amela. How are you? And then we should be able to land no problem. So yeah, so it will go localizer, then approach. I think that's just how the Boeing systems are set up. The Airbus obviously is a bit different. Yeah, this has it seems almost like a full safe method for landing. Foolproof, not full safe, foolproof method. But not always. Sometimes it'll be a bit off. But yeah, generally it works pretty well. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a bump here going over the mountains. Oh, look at that. That is really beautiful. There certainly won't be much to see when we take off from Heathrow on the 31st. We're going to be going over the ocean, so not a lot to look at scenery-wise. I know that portion of the flight is going to be very boring, very tedious. So, but we'll try to make it fun. I do hope people tune in, although the silliness will be kept to a minimum as much as possible. I'm doing good, Amela. I overslept this morning. I was asleep and I woke up and I'm like, man, what time is it? Because it was still kind of dark, and sometimes I wake up like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's still early. I don't have to be up at this point. But I looked at the time, it was like 6:40 something, and I'm like, but it took a moment for my brain to register, and I had to look again. I'm like, what? No way. And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap, I got to get out of bed. So got up real quick. So yeah, running a little bit behind today. But otherwise, I'm guessing I must have been really tired because I didn't set my alarm last night before I went to bed. Wow. Whoever just did that, I can't remember your name, but you're a coward as well. I'm going to keep calling you cowards. I know you don't care, but that's what you are. Because you won't do streaming on your own because you're a piece of garbage. There you go. Move along. So yeah, I was just running a bit behind this morning, and then I was like, oh crap, I gotta get up. I gotta get my coffee made and all that. So yeah, it was although I was like, well, I'm just gonna. Luckily, what I did yesterday was I tried, I flew for a bit, so the route was already kind of planned. in the game. So all I had to do was put in like fly the route again, so I didn't have to like go do all the stuff. So I may try to do that for tomorrow's flight, so that way it's already in there, and all I have to do is just reload it, and it's all the waypoints, everything's already there, and it's just so much easier. So I may do that today as well at some point. I got to keep an eye on the time because I do have an appointment later today, but I got to make sure I get out of here on time for that. So yeah, but ooh, look at that. Boy, we are getting a little. I think I put the seatbelt sign back on, huh? Virtual passengers would have been like, so we're definitely in the second state, or we've gone well more than halfway, so we are on the downside of the flight, as I like to call it, even though we haven't started necessarily descending, but I think about it in that respect. And wow, look at that. This would be a I think it's just that wind coming out of those mountains there, giving us a little jolt. Make sure the passengers are awake. Think twice about their Danishes and their coffee and all that. I reckon Amela would be like, it's no big deal. I'm going to continue to eat. I don't care. So anyway, I think we got one more. I don't know if we go straight or if we actually do turn from here. We'll find out when we get there. Yeah, I was out of it. I was like, man, I must have been really tired because I never.
127.5 for Varick Romeo Golf 130. Barranquilla Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130, flight level 370.
That's very unusual for me. So.
Romeo Golf 130, Barranquilla Center, continue as planned.
Yeah, I was a bit out of it this morning. I just was not. Yeah. But we're here. We're on our way. We're fine. I can assure you. So one of the things about me as a person, if I have not slept well, or if I feel like my day, like I try not to oversleep, because if I do, I feel like my day is just, it's like very discombobulated. And so my sense of humor is very short, and it's nothing against anybody. That's just how I am as a person. I do not tolerate silliness very much. So, but that's just me. So, yeah, I have a low tolerance for things when I'm tired, or I feel like my day is just shot because I didn't get up in time and do the things that I wanted to do before I had to do other things. So yeah, that's just me. I think we turn here, but I may be wrong. Find out here in a moment. As soon as the marker comes into view on the display here. And I can't. And the other thing too is I was tinkering with this last night, the plane, and trying to make sure I got everything done. Like I kept doing the startup a bunch of times just so I kind of felt more comfortable with the process. And then eventually it was kind of like something wasn't working. So I was trying to figure all that out, and then it just. Then I looked at the time. I was like, "Oh, I got to get to bed." And all that, so alright, so that's the next marker there in front of us. GIKBA. So there was our, well, that's an airport below us. Oh, saw it. That's it down there. I think after this one, that's when we turn towards our destination there. We made a slight turn, but I think from here we make one more turn towards our destination there, Curacao. Yeah, I just kind of thinking about it, when I graduated medic school, I think I had about 3 hours of sleep, and I was so miserable that day. I was just so short-tempered. It was just like nothing was going right that day. And you're trying to get everything out your room, downstairs, and then you got to go over and you got graduation practice, and then you got to go back, and then you got to go back for graduation, and then you got to go back and get your stuff, and then get out of there. Yeah, I was just like, I could not get out of there quick enough. I was so tired. I just wanted to go somewhere to sleep for a bit. Take a shower and just have something to eat. Yeah, I was just, it was a long day for sure. I think everything seems like the day is longer when you're tired, and you're just like, you just want to hurry up and get things over with, and tomorrow's a different, a new day, but yeah, I do not cope very well if I've not slept well. But if it's really bad, I just won't. Like, if I know I'm going to be really miserable, I just won't stream, because it will show in my demeanor. It'll show when just making silly mistakes, and then things don't go well, and then I get more frustrated. So yeah, I very nearly canceled today's flight, but I'm like, no, I really want to do it. So flying right now, we have been going, let's see what an hour 29 flying. I think that's what it says. Lapse time. Yep. I think it's an hour 29. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. So we're not too far behind on our streaming time. It's almost in sync, kind of, but we did spend some time on the ground, like I said, trying to get the engine started up, and we finally got them going so we could taxi out and get in the air and get out of there. So I think this will be a good point to take a moment away for a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Right. Well, there we are. We should be turning, I think. Should turn here. I'm trying to remember how the flight plan was laid out. I don't recall off the top of my head. We do appreciate everybody coming in today. Oh, thank you, Mella. Watching the flight. Really appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow in the 777 freighter. Take some stuff down from Miami to airport in Guatemala, I think. So that is the marker there. Let's see. Yeah, we'll track a little bit more to the right. Make that slight adjustment here. We can see the way that it's going. It will be just a slight turn, but not a full turn towards our destination, I don't think. Find out here in a moment. As soon as we get closer, the plane will kind of turn on for itself. Go. So let's ask for starter reduction. We'll just go and ask for 34,000 feet. Should be by 3,000 feet.
Barranquilla Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Request flight level 340.
Varick Romeo Golf 130, descend and maintain flight level 340.
Descend and maintain flight level 340, Varick Romeo Golf 130.
There we go. Alright, we'll start making our way down in altitude. We'll start slowing down here pretty soon. The fun part is coming up. I think that's probably when Bex is going to come in and say hello, just as we get ready to land. That's my guess. For whatever reason, Bex doesn't want to jinx me. hopefully when we turn towards our airport there, we'll have a bit of a tailwind, which should help get us there a little bit quicker. We got that 52 knot wind coming from our left. Should be over the South Atlantic now. Yep, we're over the South Atlantic. And we'll turn, I'm almost positive we turn here. We should have another reduction in altitude coming up. Yep, there's our turn right there. So we're going to go off track for a moment, I think, because it may not turn. Amba is our
Romeo Golf 130, contact Curacao Center on 124.1. Good day.
124.1 for Varick Romeo Golf 130. Curacao Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130, flight level 340.
Varick Romeo Golf 130, Curacao Center, continue to Ambas as planned.
Curacao Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Request flight level 240.
Varick Romeo Golf 130, descend and maintain flight level 240.
Descend and maintain flight level 240, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Curacao Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Request flight level 200.
Varick Romeo Golf 130 descend and maintain flight level 200.
Descend and maintain flight level 200, Varick Romeo Golf 130.
Oh, oops, daisy. Okay, so we've been reducing altitude. I just looked down, yep. Thank you, Mick. So we're reducing our altitude. We're at flight level 200. And we will continue to drop some altitude. We're going to get a little bit closer to the 8,000 feet marker there in front of us. So our next goal, I think what we'll do a little bit, we'll go to 15,000 feet and then down to 8,000 feet. But we'll get a little bit closer. So, yep. Nice to see you back, Mick. Bella was getting a little worried. I think Amilla needs somebody to hold his hand. So we are on the approach, basically. It's pretty much almost a straight shot in. There won't be much, like, we won't have to, like, circle around or anything, I don't think. It should be a pretty straightforward, easy flight from here on out. But we'll get a little bit closer, but we started to slow down a bit, so we're in good shape, I think, for our landing. We'll dial it all the way down to 140 on approach and get our flaps down along the way. So we'll go like 210, 180, we'll drop some flaps, 160, 140, and keep the flaps going until we are stable at 140, and then we'll go from there. We're nearly there. Do appreciate everybody coming in today, hanging out. Nice to see you all here. All right, let's go to 150 from here.
Curacao Center, Varick Romeo Golf 130. Request 15,000 feet.
Varick Romeo Golf 130, descend and maintain 15,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 15,000 feet, Varick Romeo Golf 130.
I had it pronounced wrong. I thought it was Curacao, but apparently it's Curacao. Unless it is Curacao and they just don't pronounce it correctly, which is very possible. And playing with their new toys as well. Yeah. I think Mick would rather be blowing stuff up on Battlefield if he had his choice. So our transition altitude is 2,500. Wow, that's almost like when we're going to be on approach. International. Wow, that's almost like, yeah, it's on an island right there. Look at that. That would have been an interesting approach. Interesting landing. Looks like there's just the one runway. Might have had a nice approach over here over the water. Alright, let's go ahead and start slowing down even more. Ooh. I don't know why it does that. Now suddenly the late arrivals are coming in into the stream.
Curacao Center, Merrick Romeo Golf 130. Request 8,000 feet.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, Merrick Romeo Golf 130.
We'll go ahead and start slowing down even more. Do appreciate everybody coming in here at the last minute. Well, not last minute necessarily, but that's what we got left to do. We're gonna bleed off to 8,000, and then from there, I think once we hit that marker, ADRIV is the marker we're headed towards, the waypoint there, and then we'll from there, I think we'll start getting our instructions from approach or the tower and all that. We'll probably approach once we hit that marker there. We should start talking to somebody else here pretty soon. And once we get down to 8,000 feet, we'll slow down to 210 or probably 180. So we can start getting our flaps down and get the plane slowed down even more. We'll go 210 possibly. I think we'll be okay with that. I think I waited a little too long for the reduction to 8,000 feet, but I think we're going to be fine. We have a bit of a tailwind behind us, 3 knots. It's good. As always, I do apologize in advance. At some point, I am not going to be paying attention to the chat, so I will catch up once we are at the gates. Try to read all the catch up on the posts and whatnot in the chat. So I do apologize if you are directing a question or comment to me. I apologize if I don't see it as we get ready to land. Let's go to 210 now. So we should turn again towards the right here once we hit the marker coming up. It should be pretty much smooth sailing from here. Fingers crossed.
Romeo Golf 130, you are 42 miles west. Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS runway
Wow.
1 approach via IAT-13 transition. Clear to IAT-13.
Oh, there we go.
Descend and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS runway 11 approach via IAT-13 transition. Cleared to IAT-13. Fairing Romeo Golf 130.
All right, folks, we are on our way. We're lining up for approach. So there is the deceleration point, so we are pretty much right on target.
130, please expedite your descent 2,500 feet.
Can't expedite it. It's going the way it's going because that's how it's going. We will be there at 2,500. Don't worry there, bucko. Look at this nice view. We got a little bit of the puffy clouds here. Definitely looks like we might head through a bit of the clouds. See, isn't that the other truck driving sim, Amela? Remember a lot of people talking about that, or I know it's some kind of a sim. I think it's trucks though. Now I think once we get at the 2,500, I'll go to 3034, and then it should give us an updated altimeter reading. Oh, okay. That's what it is. I couldn't remember if it was trucks or buses. That's right. I remember some people were asking if Joe was playing it or not. we're roughly at 2,500. Getting there. So I am going to dial back in the Uh-oh. 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 Oh, come on. It seemed like it was frozen there for a second.
2,500.
I think we're about right spot on where we should be. But we should get an updated altimeter reading.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130, you are 400 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 2,500 feet altimeter 290.904.
Climb and maintain 2,500 feet Merrick Romeo Golf 130.
He said 290.904. Yep, perfect. All right, there we are. All right, so real quick, there's our dots across the bottom. We want that diamond to be in the middle. We'll hit the localizer, and then once that's in, we'll hit the approach. Okay, localizer mode. Engaged. Last bit of flaps down.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130, you are 13 miles west of Plisman. Contact
Adios control.
118.3
Approach.
when inbound.
Thank you for guiding us in.
Tower on 118.3 Merrick Romeo Golf 130. Tower Barrack Romeo Golf 13012 miles west inbound ILS runway 11 approach.
Barrack Romeo Golf 130 Tower. Altimeter 29.9 4 wind 092 at 17. Cleared ILS runway 11 approach.
Cleared ILS runway.
Oh, look at that. We are
Barrack Romeo Golf 130.
Alright, we gotta wait for that thing to cross. Okay, there goes the diamond. It's moving. We are still pretty far out, so it won't hit the ILS just yet. We are making our way for that to intersect. That has gone phenomenally flippin' well. I like it. We can almost engage the approach mode, and that should lock in the tractor beam, as I like to call it. I like it when our plan goes together. Approach mode. Right. Now, there we go. Tractor beam has us.
2,500.
Da-da-da. Got our flaps all the way down. Oop, a little bit of a adjustment there. Maintain our airspeed and everything so we get over the... Now, there's going to be a couple things that's going to happen very quickly as we get close. We're going to disengage the autopilot, throw off the auto thrust, and we should be good to go for landing. We will do that once we are over the threshold. Oh, look at that. Give you the trusty salute there, Tower.
Cleared to land runway 11 Barrack Romeo Golf 130.
114 is our actual heading, but we are just a little bit off, but it's going to make those slight adjustments as we get closer and closer. Speed brakes are armed. Yep, we got some auto brake to help us slow down.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Boy, it is hovering way longer than I expected it to. Ooh, that was not a good... Well, there we are. We hovered just a little bit longer than I would have preferred. Oh, thank you, Amela.
Merrick Romeo Golf 130 contact ground on 118 decimal tree.
Going to 118 decimal tree, Merrick Romeo Golf 130. Ground Varick Romeo Golf 130, request taxi to parking.
Varick Romeo Golf 130 taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Varick Romeo Golf 130.
Alright, let's make sure our brake stuff is... Oh, there we go, it's off. Perfect. On behalf of your entire flight crew, including myself and First Officer Mick, we'd like to welcome you to Curacao. Local time, I think, is maybe 9:22. I could be wrong. It might be a little bit later. It might be a little bit earlier. I don't know. We do appreciate you flying with us today. We know that you have many options, a plethora, so many options when it comes to your Microsoft Flight Simulator live streaming viewing pleasures, and we are glad that you chose us today. Tomorrow we will be flying from Miami. We'll be taking some freight down to Guatemala in a 777 freighter. Half of FedEx, so do join us for that tomorrow. Welcome to Curacao. There you go, there's your halfway professional flight deck spiel on landing. Went very well, although we hovered over the runway way longer than I would have liked to, but we got it stopped. That's the important part. We used almost pretty much the entire runway. Not that that was planned, it just happened that way. But the transition altitude thing worked as intended. I did look up on the charts yesterday what is the transition altitude for this airport, and it is 2,500 feet. So that did go according to plan. Good thing I did some homework last night, huh? So I learned something new last night. Which is always a good thing to do. Yeah, it was a good flight. Really pleased. That went off without a hitch, essentially. Other than the startup, we had a little headache with that. We got it started, and we got in the air. Really nice flight. A little bumpy towards the latter half of the flight as we went over the mountains, but despite the clouds and everything, it was a really good flight. Really pleased with that. So glad you all got to see that. For those who were here. For those of you who didn't see it, I don't know what to tell you. You missed it. Missed a lot. Well, this is kind of an odd parking spot. I would have thought we would have gone to over here. Might have been. I thought this would have been the regional jet sort of area. Oh, maybe it'll have the. Well, looks like we got a stairway there for the passengers. I think we are supposed to go in the other way. Yeah, we can't go in through all that equipment. We could, but that wouldn't be right. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this done correctly. As much as possible. Swing it wide here so we can pull into our correct parking spot there. I shouldn't have. Can't always rely on the lines. It may not give you the correct information. That's okay. We'll go ahead and correct it ourselves. Dude, why are you walking out in front of the engine? You're going to get sucked up in there and you'll be dead. Then I'll have to file an accident report. There we go. We ask for ground services.
Ground Ferric
connection.
Romeo Golf 130, could you please send a ramp?
Watch this. Watch this.
Ferric Romeo Golf 130 ramp.
Here goes the door. Here goes the stairs. Woohoo! Check that out. Now watch, the stairs aren't gonna. It's gonna connect to the side, and then it's gonna like slide into place or something. Watch. It's kind of weird. I might have pulled up a little too far. I like that part of it. Although, see now, I don't know why the back door opened too, because there's no... I don't know. Kind of weird. Watch, it'll connect, and then it's going to slide over to the left. Did that before. There it goes. Any second now. Bingo! Haha! That's just insane. Anyway, that is going to be it today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow. 777, the 777 freighter. We're going from Miami down to Guatemala, I believe. But anyway, it should be a good flight. I do appreciate everybody coming in for today, hanging out. Nice to see you all here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, if it's possible. I know not everybody likes Mondays, but that's okay. Take care until then. Peace. Live long and prosper.